My name's Cate Dyer. I'm a singing teacher in Adelaide. Africa's always been something I've been interested in since a child. I've always sort of given to various charities and things like that. And as I grew up, I started to become a little dissatisfied with the personal touch, with giving money and not really being able to see where it was making a difference. Because for me, I was always more interested in the actual community experience and meeting people, in building those networks. So it didn't make sense for me to just send money off when I was making no connections with people. So for me, actually going over there was always something I wanted to do. And the further I got along, the more I realised that I would have to do that myself. And I saw a few examples. I was lucky enough to being asked to go over there with Sandy Clark as part of her program. She helped me a lot with the funding for that. So her organisation, Dignity Zambia, helped to raise the money to take me over there and to spend the time with her. So we fundraised for that together. The hardest thing is raising the money. We have a lot of money to raise to get the hospital off the ground. It's going to be a simple but well-built and well-designed hospital that the idea is will just last forever. We will put in equipment into that hospital for birthing and things like that. Some of the rural hospitals we went to literally just were concrete room with a bed with stirrups, and it was the most frightening, as a woman, most frightening thing I've ever seen, to think of these women going in there. They don't have lights. The women are delivering babies in the dark with no clean water, with no access to phones if something goes wrong, no aspirator for the babies if they're born and they have mucus in their lungs. Sometimes what was happening was the babies are being born against all these odds and then are dying because they can't suck the mucus from the lungs, which is such a simple piece of machinery. We really saw how much money we need to raise, and it's a huge amount. And so I think that the biggest challenge is always finding new donors that are willing to help us. What we try and do is have very specific projects so people can see this is exactly where the money's going. Cate or Sandy will be over there to oversee this happening, that they feel comfortable and confident, donating to, but that's always the biggest challenge. Teaching children in Zambia was one of the most incredible, probably the most incredible teaching experience I've had. I didn't really know what to expect. You can do your research on countries like Zambia, and you can't really fully understand it until you go and you see it for yourself. And I travelled to the poorest part of Zambia, which is the Western Province. And I went to, I think it was probably 8 schools in the end. And the kids were phenomenal. I went to a primary school. The kids had never learnt music before. And they crammed themselves into this classroom to take the music class, and all the teachers also crammed in, and anyone that couldn't fit into the classroom were hanging through the windows watching the class. And by the end of it, they had learnt how to tell the difference between crotchets and quavers and different beats. They could clap out rhythms. And I only had 45 minutes with these kids, but they were so focused to learn that it was very special for me. It taught me, again, the power of music and how that can help, how that can bring people to life. And that was something I'd almost feel like I'd forgotten until that moment. So it was very special for me. Going on this trip definitely reignited my passion for music, and also my belief that music can make such a difference. I think for me, I've been working here in Adelaide for so long in music, but also around Australia. And we're very, very privileged here with the opportunities and the resources that we have. I went there actually quite embarrassed in some moments because I thought, what is music going to do in these schools? The kids are rocking up. I mean, most of them actually, one of the schools had lost parents to AIDS, that some of them were sick. And I'm thinking, how is going in there and teaching a music class going to help these people? I felt actually personally quite mortified at times before I actually went into the classrooms. And I think one moment for me that was really special, that reignited my passion, was we went to a church service on a Sunday morning, and we were sitting there and they were introducing us to the church community, and they were introducing Sandy and all the fantastic work she was doing building a hospital, and people were very excited about that. And I was sitting next to Sandy thinking, oh my goodness, and then next they're going to say, and this is Cate, she's teaching music in the schools. And I thought, it was so horribly in comparison to saving women and children and to building these hospitals and all these such important things that we were also doing on this trip. And anyway, so they announced that this is Cate and she'll be coming into the schools to teach music. The place just absolutely erupted with excitement and joy, and I was blown away by that, because I realised in that moment I didn't even really believe how important music could be, or perhaps I'd lost a little bit of that belief, and just to see the excitement and the joy that brought to people was so special to me, because it just goes to show it's taking something you can do and making a difference. You know, you don't have to be able to do, you know, everything in the world. You take what you can do and you offer that, and sometimes that's all it takes, you know, to bring a bit of excitement.